to Title the Podcast.
With Joe.
And Joe!
Ayan, we're back. Welcome. Episode 2.
Yes, episode 2 of our podcast. Can you believe it?
I know, ano bang topic natin today?
Well, our topic for today is all about music.
Music. Bakit naman tayo napunta sa music?
Well, because this past week, I found a new obsession.
Obsession. Okay, elaborate.
Music obsession, huh? Not just any other obsession. But I discovered this band called Sleep Token and I like them so much. I listen to their music sa Spotify. Grabe, ang galing!
Sino to? Kilala ko ba to?
Probably not. They're a band from UK. They're really good. So, shout out to the metalheads tsaka sa mga rockista dyan.
Sleep Token.
Yes.
Paano mo sila na-discover? Anong ganap?
I think I was just flipping through TikTok one day. And I was like, interesting. And then, merong isang TikTok doon, sabi na, this band beat daw si Selena Gomez and Chappell Roan to number 1. It's a new music release. Something like that. And I was like, interesting. Like a really rock band. So I got interested and checked them out. And I was like, my goodness, this is so good.
What about them do you like? Other than the fact na they're up and coming. You like kasi mga ganyan eclectic, grunge, mga... This is totally your vibe. But what about them specifically drew you to them?
I like the mystery of it. Because nobody knows who they are.
What do you mean nobody knows?
They wear masks.
Oh.
And nobody knows kung sino sila. And, I mean, if you listen to their music and you read their lyrics, ang ganda, basta super ganda. If you know what I mean, it's like a poetry turned into a song kind of thing. Hindi ko ma-explain eh. It's very ethereal. It's weird, but I like it.
Actually, I tried listening to yung song, di ba, after mong sinend. I don't know how to say it, pero may laman yung... There's something to yung pagkanta nila. And what I did too, di ba, sabi mo they beat out Selena Gomez, Benny Blanco, and Chappell Roan. So I listened to all 3 songs.
Yeah.
I really, really thought when I listened to all 3 songs na I was gonna disagree with the rankings.
Mm-hmm.
Sabi ko, I've always loved Selena Gomez. I've been a fan.
Yeah.
Chappell Roan has great music out there, and I don't know who this band is.
Yeah.
So in my head, I was like, I'm definitely gonna probably like Selena Gomez's song better. And I listened to all 3. Selena Gomez's Sunset Boulevard, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then Chappell Roan's The Giver.
Mm-hmm.
And then this one is Sleep Token's, Emergence.
Emergence, yeah.
And I gotta say, I actually really liked Emergence.
Diba?
Out of all 3. And this is coming from somebody, like, guys, I like pop music more than any other genre.
More than anything, yeah.
Like, I really enjoy all genres, but I am a big fan of pop. And I'm not the biggest fan of, like, rock and, like, metal. And basically the things that the other Joe tends to like more. But I was surprised. I was very pleasantly surprised. Nung pinahingin ko kasi siya, it started slow, which is what I wasn't expecting. Kasi yung TikTok na you sent me about them, it said na to be fair, the TikToker said he called them a metal band, heavy metal band, but then he challenged his audience to be like, prove to me if they're a metal or not a heavy metal band in the comments. So I had a preconception in my head na when I played their song, it was going to be like,
the loud,
heavy rock, guitars everywhere, big beats everywhere. But it started slow. It started eerie even. Tapos, I was listening to it and I was reading the lyrics. Like, ay, malaman yung lyrics niya. It's the kind of lyrics that make you think.
Exactly.
Iba yung imagery kasi niya.
Yeah.
I think Chappell Roan's song, and I'm sure people will disagree or might disagree. Like, to me, it sounded very country. So the imagery she painted was very specific.
Yeah.
Selena Gomez and Benny Blanco's song was oddly sexual, which I guess a lot of pop music is going sexual now.
Yes.
But like, that's not the image I have of Selena Gomez, you know?
Yeah.
So in my head, it's like...
The sweet pop star.
Yeah, medyo may disconnect with yung wholesome image that I've always had of her. And I know this is, I guess this is the direction she's going, and I'm sure, she put a lot of artistry in the song. And I do see elements of that, artistry niya with the lyrics. Pero yung imagery na very sexual did not quite connect with what I...
It's very different, Selena Gomez.
Yes, it absolutely is. So I think with all of those things combined, I really enjoyed Sleep Tokens because yung kanila was...
They call it progressive metal.
Progressive metal.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I haven't really dived into the whole Sleep Token thing, but...
So baka pang episode 3.
Maybe, but...
Ituloy ang pag-usa.
I don't know. Their music gets me excited.
To me, it wasn't excitement. To me, it was... I like the imagery because the imagery is different.
Yeah.
So they weren't like, Chapel Roan's song was painting a bit of a country. So storytelling, right? Like very... if you think about Taylor Swift's first couple of songs when she first started in country, na you follow a story, which is very typical of country music. I don't know if Chapel Roan will consider it country. But you follow a story. You start here, tas ganito. Like you picture her going through all these different things. Sleep Tokens was more ethereal, I guess.
Exactly.
And it's very parang out of this world yung dating. As somebody who likes like anime and supernatural type of, music, fantasy type, movies and shows, that was what it was doing for me. Like, to me, it started feeling like, I was imagining these different images of like, I don't know, hindi ko din alam anong image na conjure niya. Basta ibang image.
Oo. Ewan ko, basta sa akin, it's very mysterious, dark, ethereal, all those things. The things that I like, actually.
Oo nga. Puro.
Plus the depth of the lyrics.
Open to interpretation.
Yes. So, it could be anything you want it to be. Kind of thing.
And I guess that's why yung TikToker was a bit surprised also. Kasi I think in the past couple of, I guess, decades or something, generally chart toppers tend to be pop music.
Mostly, yes.
Diba? Parang very rarely do we get chart toppers that are completely of a different genre than what the majority of the population tend to want, or the majority of the population who tend to consume their music through the same kind of means where all these, trackers tend to be counting from. Kaya that's probably why he was very excited when he posted. Ang pangalan ng TikToker na i-shoutout natin bilang sa kanya galing yung post.
I don't know.
Hanapin natin.
We'll credit it later. But yeah, so that's my obsession right now. I listen to it like day and night. Wherever I go, even to my sleep. Sleep Token puts me to sleep. My gosh.
And as an insomniac, that is a big achievement for the band.
Exactly. Well, anyways, let's move on to the next part of our episode 2.
Yes, I guess when we said in our intro episode, we said we wanted to be tackling basically anything and everything. So for episode 2, we're trying to deal with something viral or, trending. And on that note, I came across this Instagram post from, oh my gosh, ano pangalan ni Kuya?
Ayan, i-credit natin yung mga...
Where credit is due. Si Rough Music Official on Instagram. So that's at Rough Music, RUFF Music Official. Basically, itong si Kuya, ang sabi niya, na the music industry now has 5 critical roles.
Yes.
Basically, ang sabi niya, yung music industry is parang basketball. Actually, I was thinking more football, but I guess they both work. Where you have a specific lineup, di ba? May, like, oh my God, I'm blanking out on ano roles sa basketball.
Captain. Don't ask me, I'm not into sports.
Sa football.
Sa football, quarterback, we have the quarterback, the running back,
goalie, I think ibang sport na yun. And napaghahalata hindi kami mahilig sa sports. Anyways, basically, ang sinasabi nitong ni Rough Music is that similar to sports where you have these specific roles and then pag nag-retire na yung nandun sa role na yun, you fill it with somebody else.
Exactly.
So ang sinasabi niya, sa music industry daw, there are 5 critical roles and he identified these 5. So I wanted to bring it up to you today. Napag-usapan natin. These 5 roles na sinabi niya na sabi niya, the music industry is not interested in discovering new talent, but it's interested in discovering talent that will fit into these 5 roles.
Because it works.
Because it works.
Mm-hmm.
Totoo. So, ang una niyang sinabi was the boundary pusher.
The boundary pusher.
Boundary pusher ang kanyang role number 1. Na ang sinabi niya, this title used to be held by Lady Gaga.
Mm-hmm.
But now, sabi niya, Chappell Roan has it. And I think I agree.
I agree too. Sila yung mga parang weirdo, pero ang ganda ng music.
Tapos yung performances nila is an overall performance.
Yes.
It's not just like a song and dance. It's not just like you know how you have
it's the full production.
But it's not just the production. Because if you think of like Rihanna does full productions. Katy Perry does full productions. Beyonce does full productions. No one's gonna say that those people don't deliver.
Yeah.
But when you see Chappell Roan or like Lady Gaga on stage, you tend to always expect the unexpected. Like, is she gonna show up in like full armor, or is she gonna show up with just like a bikini,
or in a meat dress?
Yeah, like the boundary pusher. I get the title. Where it's like boundary pusher. And
not the norm.
Not the norm, exactly. And I think I also agree with something. Lady Gaga first, and Chappell Roan is now parang taking over, because there was a time when Chappell Roan was starting. It was kind of, at least to me, it was on my For You page. It tended to be all over my For You page. Na parang sabi ng mga tao, Chappell Roan is to the people what Lady Gaga was to her fans before. And then somebody extended it where it was like, and Lady Gaga is to her fans what Madonna was to her fans back then. And I was like, oh, I can see
So just
that.
passing the torch to someone else. To
Yeah,
take over, kind of.
And then sabi nito ni Kuya Ruff Music na sabi niya na Chappell Roan has been positioning herself for the longest time. So it wasn't like she came onto the scene all of a sudden,
She has always been there.
She's always been there. So I think for a lot of us, we quote unquote discover her music when she, hits the Billboard 100, hits this, hits that. Pero sabi ni Kuya, she's always been there. She's always been kind of doing her thing slowly. And then now they've positioned her to basically be replaced. I don't think Lady Gaga's going anywhere anytime soon.
I don't think so too. She just released new songs. So.
True, but I can see the connection.
It's fairly clear. And we talk about this pop music.
I think that's the other thing. Na tong 5 roles na sinasabi ni
rough music.
Feel ko applicable lang to sa pop. And I guess I was trying to go through like Rough Music Official's Instagram page, like what he usually talks about. And I think mostly he covers, at least the ones that I saw, mostly he covers pop artists. So I would assume that, people like artists like Sleep Token, or even artists like Nicki Minaj, Cardi B, or like Eminem from the past. But I think these are all in their own categories.
It's a rap naman yun.
Yeah, and I would assume if somebody goes into those different genres, they probably have very similar roles then. So anyways, I don't know, role number 2, ang sabi niya is Radio Dominator.
Yeah. So ito yung mga chart toppers.
Yes, and then, because like Lady Gaga and Chappell Roan, for example, are, in their own category, they're very famous, they're chart toppers. Pero, parang mas marami kang naririnig na tong next 2 people na to sa radio. So ang sabi niya, for Radio Dominator, it used to be Katy Perry.
Yeah.
Which I totally agree. There was a time, before I had access to Spotify, when I was driving on radio, parang puro si Katy Perry.
And at that time, yung mga songs niya, she releases songs one after the other. So parang non-stop puro Katy Perry.
Yes, as parang nandun yung appetite ng mga tao. Ang ngayon, ang sabi niya, ang nagre-replace si Katy Perry Get this, Sabrina Carpenter.
I agree.
When I first heard it, parang sabi ko, parang, I'm not sure. But then I thought about it. And I agree also. Lalo na yung nonsense niya. Parang paulit-ulit sa radio. Tapos she milked it for all it's worth.
Oh, yeah.
Yung and then the Christmas nonsense one. You heard
I
that
love
one.
that song.
I really like that one. It was so I realized it was such a big deal when I visited some of my friends and when we were driving around, and the first thing my friend said was narinig mo na ba yung Christmas version ng nonsense? Sabi ko, ha? And remember this friend, syempre medyo nilalaglag ko na siya. Hindi nyo naman siya kilala. This is the friend that went to see Taylor Swift's concert.
The Eras Tour?
The Eras Tour.
Mm.
Tapos, they went to, I think, Singapore. They went to Singapore to watch the concert. Tapos, at that time, ang opener ni Taylor Swift, Sabrina Carpenter. Nung kausap ko yung friend, sabi ko, nakakuha na kayo ng tickets. Sabi niya, we got tickets now. Sabi niya, tapos yung opener si Sabrina Carpenter, sino ba yun? Hindi ko naman kilala. Ito, friend ko yun
my gosh. Now, who doesn't know Sabrina Carpenter?
I know. Tapos siya pa ang nagsabi sa akin, listen to, have you heard the Christmas nonsense? And I think they do, like Katy Perry and Sabrina Carpenter do it so well na earworms. They're very catchy yung mga kanta nila.
Yes,
when you listen
the beat,
to it,
the lyrics, everything about it is very pop.
I know. Parang quintessential pop.
Easy listening lang din.
So I agree. So far, I agree with his picks for yung boundary pusher, radio dominator. And then the third category, ang sabi niya, narrative weaver.
Narrative weaver.
And I think we all know who holds the spot. If you're following kind of like the theme, the narrative weaver position goes to Taylor Swift.
I agree because Taylor Swift is really a great storyteller.
I mean, who would have been able in the 21st century to release a 10-minute song and people listen to it?
That long.
The whole thing. People listened to the whole thing. People were anticipating it. And who else have you heard? At least I feel like in my lifetime, she re-released. Granted, there's a lot of things that happen, right? She re-released her albums. And she got the same responses to all those releases as she did with the old ones. And it's not even like she redid them, It wasn't like it was remastered or remixed. Or, she literally just re-released them because she was like, this time she owns them. Diba? Ang daming issue with yung ano niya.
Yeah.
This time she owns them. And, iba kasi yung storytelling niya. So I get the narrative weaver. And what rough music official is saying, that the narrative weaver position is still held by Taylor Swift. No one's coming close. But, sabi niya, someone is working her way up, coming close. Ano sabi niya si Gracie Abrams.
And Gracie Abrams also opened for her in the Eras Tour. I mean, yung medyo last part ng Eras Tour. She was there. Even in the one here in Vancouver. Yeah, she opened for her.
The updated news.
Shout out to the Swifties.
True. And I agree. Like, I think it's so clear with like these three categories, right? And when we talk about Lady Gaga, Chappell Roan, you can see how Chappell Roan's inching into Lady Gaga's territory. Katy Perry, Sabrina Carpenter. I think you do hear more of Sabrina Carpenter on the radio now.
Yeah.
And even on like, sound clips on TikTok, on Instagram Reels, and YouTube Shorts. And when he said Taylor Swift for narrative weaver, I was like, I agree. I can't picture anyone else yet to be like taking over. But she's still up there. She's still a category of her own.
And plus, she writes her own songs kasi from her own experiences. So that's what makes her really good at it.
Magaling din talaga siya siyang lyricist.
Exactly.
Magaling siyang lyricist. Ito na. Category 4. Critical role number 4 is vocal powerhouse. Ang sabi niya sa vocal powerhouse, this role used to be held by Adele. And I was like, okay, absolutely agree. Sabi niya, Adele held the standard for vocal powerhouse. And I absolutely agree. Sabi niya, right now though, ang parang papalit and being kind of built towards that is SZA. I don't know. I think with this one, With the other ones, kasi it made sense to me.
Yeah.
This one, medyo hindi ako sure. Not because I don't agree that SZA has great vocals, but I think with this one, kasi Adele has chosen to step down.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
That's
like
true.
after her...
after her residency.
Yeah, so
in
after her
Vegas,
tour, she
yeah.
did residency. After residency, she's like, I'm
I'm
gonna be
done.
taking a break. Yeah. I mean, I really hope she comes back. I think she's taking... to me, it's a break. Like, I don't think she's done. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm delulu. But, so to me, like that, I don't know if she I guess this one feels like she vacated the role.
Kind of. But I wonder who's before her. Parang,
I mean, there are a lot of divas kasi when you think of vocal powerhouse, Celine Dion, Whitney Houston, you know,
Jennifer Hudson. So I don't know.
SZA is a vocal powerhouse. I think personally, and this might just be because it's relatively new and I'm a big fan of Adele, I don't see the comparison just yet between SZA and Adele.
Actually, me too. Medyo, ako dyan. Wishy-washy pa ako dyan. Sa category na yan. Parang,
di ba, no?
Hindi pa ako convinced with this category.
I mean, we're convinced with the category. We're not fully convinced with yung...
The artist
that's coming up to fill the role.
Parang, teka lang.
No, parang out of the 4 so far that we've discussed. Oo tayo dun sa
the first 3
assessments ni Kuya at yung mga sabi niya And it's on the 5th one, Authentic Rebel. Ang sabi niya, the one that holds this role right now is Billie Eilish. And he says Billie Eilish really redefined this category and this role and made it her own. And sabi niya, for Billie Eilish and for the Authentic Rebel, wala si Kuyang maisip na up and coming that will be taking over. Kasi sabi niya, Billie Eilish, because of how she's positioned herself, has really connected with the audience and the authenticity is there. Now, it's quite hard to replace that with, somebody basically has to redefine parts of it.
She made this category her own category, basically.
Absolutely.
So even if it existed before, she still made it her own.
And I do think it existed before.
Yeah.
And we were trying to figure out, sino kaya ito? And I think we agreed na...
Avril Lavigne.
Yes.
So si Avril Lavigne, maybe ito siya sa category ng Authentic Rebel.
Like, I see similarities, but also I agree with Kuya na if we're gonna say that the Authentic Rebel role used to be with Avril, and then now Billie has it, I could totally see what he meant by Billie redefining the role. Diba?
Yeah.
Like, my similarities sila, you can tell they're in the same category, but it's different.
Yeah. But now, she holds the crown.
True. Or the baseball cap, because I don't think she wears crowns.
Ay, oo nga pala.
So yun.
But you guys may agree or disagree with the whole category thing. So, you can, I don't know, leave us a comment or something.
Or mag-comment kayo dun kay Rough Music Official bilang categories niya yun. Pero I think totoo, no? Parang, ang sabi pa niya, the way he started this, ang sabi niya, the music industry is not interested in discovering new talent. They're interested in filling roles, like in a sports team.
Yes.
I don't know how I feel about that comment, actually.
Well, I guess kasi nga, it works, diba? I mean, it's proven and tested. That's why they're trying to, quote-unquote, fill it in with somebody. But really, why would we define something like this when the music world is like super vast?
And I think...
You don't put it in a box.
I think that's why he had to... I guess one critique I would have for him would have been to... to clarify that this is mostly roles in the pop music genre. You know, na parang just as... Ito na naman, magkakamali naman ako. Like, just as, the roles in basketball are very different from the roles of the athletes in football
Yeah.
or in soccer, depending on which part of the
Yeah.
world you are and what kind of ball they're playing. And it's also very different from like lacrosse or hockey, right? There's some similarities, right? Like there are certain games, certain sports that both have goalies, but even the way the goalies play, their train is very different. And so I think this can be expanded into the different genres
For different music.
for different music. So that's why when I mean, granted, that was like what, a 1 minute video clip. He was trying to condense everything.
Yeah.
He was also trying to get virality, right? Like that's how you get people to watch when you say something like, these are the 5 roles in the music industry. The music industry doesn't like anything new. Obviously, you start watching. If he says, no, oh, it's just pop music lang, then probably people who are not fans of pop music would have been like, okay, whatever, scroll past.
But we get what he's trying to convey here.
Yeah, and I think for me, the reason I don't fully agree then, and not fully agree, I think the reason why I said I'm not sure how I feel about this is that parang medyo sad if you think about na fix na yung mga roles. Na,
yeah.
Like, in a world
I think there's more.
I agree, pero I can see na most of the people that are dominating fit into these roles.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in a world where you have billions of people and billions of people that are very creative in their own right, to think na they have to fit into some of these molds and that some of these people will never get the spotlight because they don't fit in these roles. Parang ang lungkot lang isipin. And then also, medyo nakakalungkot lang din isipin na to realize that the music industry is an industry.
True.
It's like for you and me, we love consuming music. We enjoy the things we enjoy, and there are things that we really like. There are things that make us happy, that just make us feel things. But it's sad to think that it is a business. That they are packaging these stars, they are marketing these stars, they have branding and storytelling, and the decisions of what songs get played, what songs get produced, what songs get promoted, what songs get put into albums are decisions made by music executives.
Yeah, and that's the reality of it.
Yeah.
Kasi honestly, if you go through TikTok, you'll see a lot of artists. A lot na hindi kilala. They're not known, but they put their music out there in hopes of, one day they someone will notice them, or they will get known for their music, for their talent. But I don't know, but thanks naman sa social media kasi nailalabas nila yung sarili nila dyan.
Totoo naman, and I think that's what some people were saying. I remember I was discussing this with a friend before. But ang kagandahan ng social media ngayon, even with all of its bad stuff, right? Like, we don't have time to discuss all of the bad stuff with social media. Sa dami ba naman. But one of the good things that happened with social media is that it opened up the avenues for everybody. Parang before Facebook, before TikTok, before Instagram, before even like SoundCloud or YouTube.
Yeah.
For you to get your song to a couple thousand people, even let's say a couple hundred people. How do you do it? I don't know.
MySpace.
Pwede. Or like, you play sa school, sa talent show,
yeah,
sa barangay nyo, or sa city, kung anong contest, you go there, you sing, and then people get to hear your music. Ngayon, you just post it. Parang tayo, may pa-podcast. Sino ba tayo? Diba? Before magta-talk show kang ganito, you have to be Oprah level. You'll work your way up to get there. Podcast, record, post, done.
Wala lang, gusto namin. Bakit ba?
But and I think the other thing too is that people find the things that they like, and then they end up connecting with the people that they like, which I think is what we're trying to do with the podcast, right? Like, we're just putting this out there. People like it, they listen to us, they connect with us. And I think that's what's happening with a lot of different artists on TikTok. Like I've discovered some artists like I've come across some artists on TikTok that I really enjoyed their music.
Same.
Shuba, for example, I really like her. She started posting yung mga impersonations. Shakira, Celine Dion, she does it. And she's so good. She raps, she sings, and her voice can transcend different genres. And I just found it. I found it on TikTok. It was on my For You page. I just kind of scrolled through it, saw one, and then she released music, and I really loved um, some of her music, and so I just started following her. I started listening to her music. Now every time she releases a new song, I see it on Spotify. I listen to it, and I really hope that she gets success, and that not just her, that a lot of these artists that are more niche
Yeah.
that gets to post their stuff. Now people find it and then they end up liking it and then they end up following them. I mean, it's not gonna get to not immediately. Like Chapel Roan had to work her way up, but iba yung level ni Lady Gaga versus level
Of
ng mga.
course.
Pero iba, but like I'm looking at, diba sa Spotify, sometimes it will give you recommendations for concerts
Yes.
in your area from the artists that you follow. And sometimes I'm like, sino tong taong to? Tapos, pero may tour siya.
Oo.
Mag-tour siya ng North America. So, I'm like, I guess, they're all building their fan base. Diba? Diba, ikaw din before, you worked with TV Joe. Oh, panahon pa ng The Voice.
Oh my gosh, in Texas pa. Oo.
Diba?
Can you imagine at that time, Morgan Wallen was there with us. And now he's a big shot.
I know.
And now he's releasing 37-song album.
I still felt like it was an absolute. I still did not believe it was real. When you told me that you were gonna fly to Texas, what are you gonna do in Texas? Oh, we're gonna put together a show for this contestant from The Voice. I'm like, huh?
It was just a crazy idea that we pulled off. But it could have been better. Pero most of the artists at that time, yung batch na yun, they were there. Yeah. There were, I think, at least 6 people from The Voice.
Pero diba, ang galing, kasi at least for somebody like me, I'm more familiar with traditional media, diba? So parang for me, hindi pa magpapa-concert ka, papa-event ka, kailangan may organizer, may promoter, kailangan may sponsor, it has to be like a big place, a record company, whatever, blah, 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 blah. And so in my head, I'm like, what do you mean you and a handful of fans just decided, let's rent out this venue, let's start selling tickets, let's reach out to Stevie Joe and see if he's gonna be...
crazy idea. But it was fun. Like, it was fun.
And it was a very unique experience.
It was.
And it was, honestly, it's a testament to your nature of being daring and being bold
adventurous.
Adventurous. But ang daming taong adventurous, but iba yung bold enough to follow a vision that you have. Parang ito, ba't tayo nagpo-podcast? In my head, I was like, oh, there's a lot of different things we need to do to get this. And you're like, hindi, may mic ako sabay, magre-record lang tayo. I'm like, okay. And now we're in episode 2.
Yes. Because, you don't have to make things complicated. And, eto advice sa mga medyo, nahihiya pa dyan to put yourself out there with your talent, go do it. Just try it once. Let's say if you write songs, if you sing, if you play an instrument, take a short clip of yourself, do it, post it, and see how it goes. Nobody would know kung ano yung talent mo if you don't share it with the world.
Totoo.
Like, and don't be scared of judgment. Like, who cares? Honestly. Diba? You're doing it because that's what you love to do. And you enjoy doing it. You're happy doing it. So, why not do it?
Exactly.
So, Ivan, sa susunod kanta ka na, ha?
May ganon. Teka, hinahanap ko yung isang friend natin. Gusto ko i-shout out. Kasi nasa SoundCloud siya ngayon at nagpo-post siya ng mga kanta niya.
Okay, so shout out na.
Ang problema lang, hindi ko malala yung username niya.
Ano ba yan?
Ay, asan ko ba hanapin yun? Kakaloka naman.
So, while you're trying to find that one, balik tayo kay Sleep Token. Sorry, I'm so excited with this one. Kasi they also announced their North American tour. Kaya lang sadly, wala yung Canada dun eh.
Alam mo, minsan talaga nakakalimutan ng Canada sa North America.
Oo nga eh. I'm so sad.
hindi nasasama.
But honestly, if there's a chance for me to watch them live, I would. Like in a heartbeat.
Pero paano yun? How do people still not know who they are?
I think now they
pa
do.
din sila habang nakamask pa din
yung
sila.
identity nila. Okay, so
Oo.
their identity, eto based lang sa mga napapanood ko So, ayaw kasi nila, they don't want to reveal who they really are. I guess it's part of their whole band identity, their band act. And the good thing is, anybody who knows them personally don't even reveal who they are.
Ayan ang importante, may mga close-knit kang...
Yes, even their producer. They even won mga meron silang napanood ng mga awards in the UK. Yung producer lang nila yung nasa stage.
Ay, talaga nagpakita.
Yeah.
Anyways, ay nahanap ko na. I think we want to recommend also, di ba? Part ng hanging out, being friends, we recommend things that we like. So obviously, you know now that we clearly like Sleep Token. We also clearly are fans of Taylor Swift, Sabrina Carpenter, Katy Perry, Lady Gaga, Chappell Roan,
and Adele.
Syempre
Billie
Eilish. And, and then I was talking about yung friend natin. We're hoping that eventually she'll be on the podcast, but, we'll see. Our friend, her username on SoundCloud is Andrea. Just Andrea. And you'll know it's her because she's from Vancouver, BC. So you'll see Andrea, Vancouver, BC. She has some songs out. One of the songs I really like from her is yung To Feel Home. Because she sings about her childhood home in the Philippines.
Is this in Bohol?
I don't know. I think this is in Manila. But she didn't speak specifically about the city, but she sang about, alam mo yung, for those na laking 90s na lumaki kayo sa Manila or sa Philippines anytime, during the 90s or early 2000s, the things we did on the street.
Oh yeah.
The games we played on the street, the
food nostalgic.
The sounds. Like I love her voice. I always tell her I love her voice. But when I listen to this song, iba yung dating because I was like, may hugot yung, and it was a fun song. Like it was a fun, nostalgic kind of cutesy little light-hearted song. Pero may dating. Alam mo yung very Taylor Swift, Adele ang vibe na. It's upbeat, but there's a storytelling there that evokes imagery and emotions. I really like Andrea's music. The other one na on SoundCloud, a friend of mine too, ang username namin sa SoundCloud is Don't Feed the Deer.
Don't feed the deer.
Diba? Very indie. Just listen to his music. And then, sino pa bang gusto mong i-shout out na artist na... So, I mean, obviously, we shouted out Stevie Joe and Morgan Wallen. Ayun.
Yeah, I should check these people out. Andrea's a friend of ours, and she's really, really good. Yes. She plays the piano too.
Yes. Oh, yung kanina sinasabi ko yung artist that I found on TikTok, Shuba. Her song that I really like is Indian Summer. And in that song, she sings, she raps, she sings in this parang traditional Indian music, yung may, kasi yung matinis na, yeah, and I love it. And there's this one line in this song that I really like when I say, yeah, you can never tell oh my god, I'm blanking out. You can never tell a brown baddie when it's time to quit. As Filipinos, I mean, Shuba is Indian, so as Filipinos, who's like obviously we're very clearly brown. I'm like, absolutely.
Well, shout out to our Indian friends.
Absolutely, I'm like all the brown people out there. You can never tell a brown baddie when it's time to quit. We decide. We have that audacity. Kakapalan ng mukha.
I'm a sucker for good lyrics.
Yes.
I am. Kasi I do write poetry once in a while, depending on my mood, but that's what catches my attention talaga.
If you want to see some of the poetry that Joe really likes,
Oh,
you should
gosh.
look for Huling Hugutera on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, I think. Nandun yung mga poetry na, ganun yung mga tipong poetry na type ni Joe.
Oh, I write quotes. Mga hugot quotes.
Kaya Huling
On the
Hugutera.
Huling Hugatera page.
So, ganun. So, yun ang topic namin. Basically, ang topic namin for episode 2. Music recommendation, a little bit about how we think about music. And we hope that we hope, like with every episode that we do, right? We hope that it created a space for you where you get to explore some of these ideas. You might completely disagree. You might completely hate all the artists that we mentioned, although how would you hate Adele? Like, why?
How dare you?
But you might disagree, you might agree, but it's a different way of thinking about it. And hopefully, with some of the artists that we mentioned, some of the genres that we like, some of the songs that we mentioned, maybe you'll discover something you like. Maybe you'll find, a new genre, a new artist that you like or end up following, end up, like with Joe, end up like an obsession.
Obsession talaga eh.
Baka pang patulog.
But no, and if you guys have any other topics that you want us to discuss, feel free to reach out to us. We have our email. We're on social media. We're on our Instagram, Facebook.
Yes, naset up na namin lahat. Took us a while, but we did. So we're on, obviously, wherever you're listening to this, it's most likely on Spotify. You can find us on Spotify, YouTube. So you can totally put comments on YouTube, reach out to us on YouTube.
And Instagram too.
Instagram, we have a Facebook page, and you can find all of that there. Maybe we should actually...
It's titled The Podcast.
Yes,
so just type it out, you'll see us there.
Yeah, so you can reach out into any of those platforms for, suggestions, questions, comments. Yeah,
violent reactions. But not violent.
We hope to hear from you.
Yes, we would love to hear from our audience.
Yeah, but eventually, discussion na talaga siya. Kasi ngayon, so far, at least the first couple of ones, I think, will be, topics that we like.
We like.
Diba? While you're getting to know us, we're talking about the things that we like, the things that we enjoy. And eventually, we want to be able to tackle topics that you also enjoy and you also like.
Exactly.
So, congrats ulit to Sleep Token for
gosh.
chart-topping new release.
Emergence. Check out their music, guys. It's really good. Like, walang tapon sa music nila. Ganon siya kaganda. Well, for me at least. So, if you like rock music, if you like metal, you should check them out.
Yeah. So anyways, again, this is Titled the Podcast with Joe.
And Joe. See you guys next time. Bye.